All right, 5 o'clock on a Thursday. Prater, tomorrow we're at Expo, Idaho for the big Boise off-road show. Going to be a blast at Expo, Idaho, just to be exact. The Boise Off-Road and Outdoor Expo. That's where we're going to be tomorrow. But today, we're right here in the Row Paint Studio, 5 o'clock, talking Boise State quarterbacks.
We're going to play with some big boy toys tomorrow. We're going to have some fun with that. And today we're going to have a big boy conversation. Quarterbacks, transfer portal, Boise State. How do we fit 3 square pegs into one round hole ball game?
I mean, are you guys buying that this season's going to start in August with fall camp, and CJ Tiller, Malachi Nelson, and Maddux Madsen are all 3 thinking and all 3 being told that they have a shot to start week 1 against Georgia Southern? Bronco Nation, do you buy that at all? Or are you selling it at 208-424-9300? Prater, right now I think I'm buying, but I'm very, very reluctant with this purchase because in today's world of college football, that doesn't make any sense. Guys don't want to compete with one player, let alone 2 others, and ultimately risk your chance of, maybe one of these guys is going to be QB3, Prater, and they're going to be okay with that, and they're going to stay. I don't know if I buy it, but right now, feels like they're saying the right things.
They're definitely saying the right things. CJ Tiller right here in our studio yesterday said all the right things. Maddux Madsen today, for the first time since his injury, met with the media, said all the right things. By the way, he did confirm no ACL. It was a MCL and PCL. That's why he's been able to get back onto the spring so fast. But he's still got a little work to do. Will not play in the spring game next week, and then full bore on August 1st when they dive into camp. Here's my issue, ball game. If I'm a fan, if I'm emotionally invested in Boise State football, and we're going to spend the next few minutes debating, and we want to hear from you guys as much as possible, and we're going to play some sound from Maddux and from CJ. I can't guess or speculate because I think all options are on the table. But for me, emotionally, if I'm a fan, this one concerns me because of what I've seen in the Boise State quarterback room the last couple of years. Frankly, I'd rather have 1 superstar and a whole bunch of scrubs right now as opposed to 3 in this competitive battle. And that doesn't make any sense because you want as many good quarterbacks as you can, but I'm not sure fans are ready to go through the juggling and the nonsense and the back and forth of the quarterback room, not just last year, but the last couple of years. Let's go all the way back to maybe even Rippon and Henderson and just the nonsense. I'm tired of quarterback juggling that doesn't always work out at Boise State. And I think at times this coaching staff, and I know it's all different and it's changed multiple times over this period I'm talking about, but there's something in that building that tells me that the quarterback stuff is going to get screwy and the coaches are going to screw it up. The players are going to screw it up. And the more options you have, the more you overthink it. And somehow, some way, I just envision middle of October, 2024, Boise State's having this decent season and they're juggling 3 quarterbacks. Ball game. I can't take it. I can't take it.
Dude, Dirk Cutter is not going to juggle
Cutter was part of this before. I mean,
no, Dirk didn't juggle, really. He did there was that half with Sam Vidlak, right, and Talon Green.
That was quick and easy. I get it. But it's and he had nothing to do with last year. I get that. And nothing to do with Rippon and Henderson and all that. I get it. I can't handle it, ball game.
No, yeah.
And I do trust Dirk Cutter to make great choices. And I do think Dirk Cutter will make big boy decisions. And I do believe by the 3rd week of August, he's going to have a clear path of what he wants. And we're all going to trust Dirk Cutter. But between now and then, I just think it's going to get squirrely. I have a hard time believing that on August 31st, when Boise State plays and gets on a plane to go to Georgia, that there's going to be those 3 quarterbacks on the plane.
On the roster, 208-424-9300. Why do you think they will, or why do you think they won't? The transfer portal is a serious thing. And, I mean, I would imagine all 3 of these quarterbacks could start at some level somewhere. I mean, I think Maddux Madsen could probably start for just about every Mountain West team. I think Malachi Nelson could be on scholarship for just about every single FBS team. If Malachi said, Coach, I want to come there, they're going to give that kid a scholarship based on his high school resume and reputation. And CJ Tiller, here's a guy who's going to blow you away if you talk to him. On the field, he looks great in practice, and he has at least 1 game, starting game, bowl game under his belt. Like, all 3 of these guys don't need to be here. My question is on this is, if you're going to go into August with a 1, 2, 3-man quarterback competition, I just don't see how all three get the same amount of reps without it hurting whoever is ultimately going to be your number one. Because whoever is ultimately going to be that number one, they're going to have had way less reps in fall camp. Prater, if it's going to be Malachi Nelson, damn it, he needs to play as much as possible to get ready for Georgia Southern, and certainly Autzen Stadium at Oregon. And I don't know if Dirk can even go in after spring and say to all three of you quarterbacks, even Stevens, we're going to take this thing into August. Best man wins the gig. You might have to at least tell one of them you're going to start August as QB3, and the others are going to start either 1 or 2, but at least find a 3. And is that situation going to be okay for CJ Tiller, who said, and we talked on this show yesterday, but is it going to be cool for CJ Tiller, him full well knowing when we start camp in August, CJ, you're QB3, and that comes with QB3 reps. If you want to stay, we'd love to keep you here. That'd be hard for me to think that a guy like CJ maybe says, okay, yeah, no problem, coach, let's do it.
Yeah, and I have a hard time, the coaches, putting him in that situation, considering that Maddux Madsen really hasn't played live football by the time August goes around for what, 10 months.
Good point.
And he didn't get really much of a choice. And CJ Tiller's out there. He started the last time Boise State played. He's going to start the spring game next week. And Malachi Nelson has done nothing. I shouldn't say that. Malachi Nelson has done plenty. He's done great the last 10 days, but he hasn't earned the starting job yet. So I think on August 1st, it's got to be 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, third. And it's got to be an open competition. Now, something's going to have to happen really, 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 really fast for that to happen. I tend to judge. I don't know if you've noticed that, but I tend to judge.
Yeah.
And in this crazy world of the transfer portal, and we're going to get to some quick Maddux Madsen audio here in a second that's really compelling about this whole situation. But if CJ Tiller goes into this regular season as number 3 and he doesn't leave, am I judging him because, he's taking the corporate route? He's sitting down and being a good soldier and doing what he's told when I want him to go off and play. If Maddux Madsen sits down and takes that news, I almost want one of them to say, F you, I need to play. I want to play. I want to be that guy. I want to go play. I want that guy to be my quarterback. I don't want quarterback 2 and quarterback 3 just to take it and sit on the bench. That would bother me just a little bit, and I'm sure it would bother them.
What do you guys think? 208-424-9300. Talking your quarterback room, Bronco Nation. Call us on the Double Tap Pub hotline, Prater.
Let's get to some of this audio real quick, guys, and then we're going to come back and resume this conversation. We want to hear from you.
Yep.
We're going to play some more stuff from CJ Tiller, dive into this debate a little bit farther. But Maddux Madsen, your first question today. Malachi Nelson was brought into the quarterback room. Your thoughts?
Talked to Bush the whole time. Like, I knew they were going to bring someone in. Bush talked about through the whole time, and I actually knew Malachi was going to be the one that was coming in. Like, Malachi's a stud, and I think it's been awesome to get him here because his like urge to get the team and understand people has been awesome. I mean, I have a great relationship with him. I know he's planning on moving this next week, and it's like, hey, let's help you move, that stuff. So it's one of those things that it's just another quarterback that you have to get a relationship with. He's in your room.
What's it like in the quarterback room? Describe it for us. They've had so many different ones over the years. I know Coach Steve Cooper's new to it too.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously very different from what it was last year. I think you have a quarterback room who's full of goofballs. I mean, CJ, not a lot of people see the side of CJ, but he's hilarious. CJ's funny. You had Colt, who's funny. Everyone's just funny, and they have their own humor, and everyone just laughs. I mean, it's laughs, and when you get on the field, Dirk's just we're all go on the blue. So.
How important is it for you, the fact that you're on the field maybe sooner than we thought and competing at a high level, knowing that Malachi's here now? I mean, you don't have to start fresh in the fall. You can start fresh right now. How comforting is that to you?
Yeah, I mean, it's nice. It's just really a blessing to play football and be out there again. But like you said, it's nice to where it's I don't have to feel that pressure, I would say, when fall camp comes around to I could do stuff now, which helps 100%.
All right, there's Maddux Madsen earlier today. How about what Maddux Madsen he talked about? What do you bring to the quarterback room, Maddux Madsen?
If you look at the quarterback room, I'm actually, other than CJ playing the bowl game, I'm the only one that's experienced the college football nature. So understanding the seriosity of what the game has to be played at the high level. Like there's sometimes I'll be a jerk to those guys because it's like it's a young room. Like we're extremely young. And so it's like finding that meeting of being like the player coach in a way, like helping those guys, but also just like I said, it's just the leadership like that I feel like I have to have in that room.
Prater, is seriosity a word?
Absolutely.
God,
Great
wait,
word.
way to pull that, Mad Dog.
It's an absolutely beautiful word.
The seriosity
Yeah, I got a
of
little
the situation. I like it.
I got the proud editor smile on my face when he said that. I thoroughly enjoyed that. All right, transfer portal. Here's the tough question, guys. Maddux Madsen, are transfer portal thoughts real in the quarterback room right now?
Yeah, no, it's tough. It's a tough world to live in, and now like the escape route is a lot easier than it should be. And personally, I strive in like doing my best, and I don't fear from like being benched. I would say like that's something I'm not going to just run away from. I like to compete, and I like to do that with others. And I think whether or not it's one of the three, like we're all just going to be like hanging out with each other, supporting each other. And I think that was shown last year. I mean, through Taylor and I, like just the support that you have to give. And it's tough, like you said, with the whole NIL and all that jazz, but that's something I'm not really worried about. Like that doesn't strike me like a huge, big deal. Like I don't play football for money. Like I like to play football because I play football.
There's Maddux Madsen talking to the media. How about this, though? Mad Dog, do you seriously envision all three of these quarterbacks all being happy campers on one happy roster?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. It's hard to say, but I feel like we all, like, we're strive to love each other in ways. I don't know those guys and, like, what their thoughts are. I feel like everyone wants to be here and play football, so I don't know exactly what their thoughts are, about that.
Do you ever entertain those thoughts?
No. I like to be here. I like Boise State. I've got 110 good buddies here. There's no reason for me to be anywhere else.
I have a little bit of a different feeling now that I've heard that the second time. And he's talking about love and joking. And I mean, they're difficult questions to ask. And he's not going to stand up there and say, yeah, I'm going to jump into the transfer portal. And he doesn't have a lot of leverage right now. He's got one leg and 10 months of rehab and not a lot of spring tape. So yeah, I believe him that he wants to stay. I believe CJ, and we'll play CJ when we get back from the break here in a second. His competition answer yesterday was, strong and legit, and you have to believe it. But that one seemed a little bit softer to me there. A little giggling here, a little love talk here, a little joke talk there, and now all of a sudden my mind is racing a little bit with thoughts about Maddux Madsen. If I had to pick one that was going to transfer, I would pick Maddux Madsen.
What about you guys? 208-424-9300 on the Double Tap Pub hotline. If you guys are just playing that game and you're thinking, okay, all three of these dudes are not going to be on the roster when camp opens. If you're of that mind, well, who do you think leaves and what is probably the reason they leave for? 208-424-9300, Prater. You'll hear from CJ Tiller on this situation as well. We want to hear from you on this situation, the quarterback room. How do you assess this is going to happen? Are you buying the fact that all three of these guys are going to be happy campers? And heck, if you want to ask any question regarding the quarterbacks, me and Prater have been at almost every practice. You have a question for us, what we're seeing, and we'll do our best to answer if you have them to. JP, let's have some fun. It's Idaho Sports Talk, Prater on the Ball Game right here. KTIK, The Ticket.
From the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Studios, this is Ticket Traffic.